Welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel, everyone. This is Rich making another video on XRP today, as usual. We're going to talk about XRP today, so I hope everyone is having a fantastic day wherever they are in the world. And I must begin with this King Valix product. The Ethereum blockchain was used by Chainlink, a Cbdc pilot. Chainlink suggested using the 15 transaction per second ATF blockchain to compete with XRP. With its maximum capabilities, XRP can process 1 trillion transactions every second, and the Interledger protocol was used for that. Stefan Thomas explained to us how XRP would grow to accommodate everyone on the earth, and for that reason, XRP has no competitors. Since Ripple is essentially distinct from the majority of cryptocurrencies due to the Interledger protocol and RippleNet, it has no direct rivals in the cryptocurrency market. Smoke is the source of this. The ability of Ripple's Interledger protocol to connect cryptocurrency with card networks such as Visa is also explained below. When you consider micropayments, Interledger protocol is going to be a huge game shift. That's the direction that Ripple is currently taking. David Schwartz discusses that several times. Micropayments are when you are paid during the work day, from the moment you clock in until you leave for home. Additionally, it's how you pay for a single piece rather than a full newspaper. Purchase a single film without a subscription. That is made possible by an Interledger protocol. That's why XRP and RippleNet are so revolutionary. They are gradually coming to terms with it. Listen in as Btc Maxi'S discusses XRP. They also discuss Ethereum's shortcomings. Motions in the universe of ripples. To start, Ripple is promoting its XRP ledger ecosystem, in particular XRP and its recently launched stablecoin RLUSD as a cutting-edge substitute for SWIFT for quick cross-border payments. Everyone is aware that blockchain-based infrastructure such as Ripple's can offer nearly immediate settlement, but it is also highly slow and costly. Next, it's straightforward and economical. Through its local subsidiary Ripple Markets Middle East, Ripple has received formal approval to conduct RLUSD operations in Dubai. So Ripple's authorization to provide RLUSD and XRP services in Dubai was authorized by the Dubai Virtual Asset Regulator Authority, or VARA. And speaking of things geared towards retail, Coinbase has released wrapped versions of XRP and Dogecoin. By doing this on its Ethereum Layer 2 network platform, it enables these assets that were previously incompatible with EVM to take part in decentralized finance, which should increase their usefulness and motivation to hold for a longer period of time, yes. And once more, Base is a platform that is more focused on retail, while the other topics we discussed earlier are more geared toward institutions. Last but not least, David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, discussed the reasons why XRP has a privileged position on the XRP ledger in comparison to other assets, particularly emerging tokens like the stablecoin RLUSD. Unlike a stablecoin, XRP is specifically integrated into XRP at the protocol level, which results in reduced transaction costs, no third-party issuers, and easier pathfinding for payments and liquidity route, deeper, faster, and better liquidity, most likely. In light of this final news, but generally speaking, I find it intriguing that the CTO of Ripple came out and discussed XRP's stance in particular. In this growing ecology, I get the impression that Ripple is really concerned about the expansion of the ecosystem and XRP's role as its native token. The issues that Ethereum and the Ethereum ecosystem have faced for the last 18 to 24 months. Well, it's incredibly long to discuss them. This is practically in sharp contrast to that, uses the Ethereum ecosystem's coin Ether. Everyone, including myself and my wealth, is aware that Ether's had difficulties and has devolved into a joke. For example, what is the worth of ETH? Is it worth anything? Does ETH have any accruing value? Furthermore, I believe that the Ripple CTO's public statement highlights the significance of XRP in the ecosystem and helps ensure that Ether's issue doesn't affect XRP. All right, so he's attempting to. You still don't believe that XRP will overtake ETH. The majority of ETH holders are becoming less interested in the cryptocurrency. Additionally, even Btc Maxi'S are beginning to see how Ripple is growing and the growth surrounding XRP everywhere in the world. I believe that many of these Btc Maxi'S will begin to move their funds since they also desire a high rate of return on investment. You can get a good return on your investment with XRP. Gary Cardone, I'm not sure what's up with this guy. He asserts that XRP will cooperate with the most repressive individuals on the earth in order to pursue any course necessary for their survival. Below is a photo of one of them. Ms. Cringe will stop at nothing to make Europe a prison continent. They may trick you into a police state, and martial law is in effect everywhere. In finance, XRP is equivalent to Part 2 are voting for and on behalf of European belligerents if you keep holding XRP. This is what's happening. Digital central bank come. Whether we like it or not, digital currencies are on the horizon, and while you can, you may as well profit from it. However, some individuals behave as though Bitcoin will become the currency of freedom. How on earth are 7 billion people going to use Bitcoin for transactions? Every second, it completes 7 transactions. Blockchain is the way of the future, as we well know. It would be another cryptocurrency if it weren't XRP. Perhaps it would be XTC or XLM. Perhaps they would be using the XTC network to expand their central bank digital money. Take a look at the Bank of England. They are expanding using both Quant and Ripple. You know, these folks still don't understand. Whether they like it or not, a new financial system is on the horizon. While you might as well make a fortune from it. Eleanor Tourette is the source of this. The focus on Capitol Hill is on crypto legislation. Additionally, Wall Street grows optimistic about stable currency, and the events we'll be witnessing this week in Washington, D.C. and New York City. It appears that they are working to pass this stable coin measure this week. According to her, it might occur by the end of this week. I anticipate that the cryptocurrency market would soar along with it if that occurs. As these nations begin using stablecoins, they will be able to move them from point A to point B, which is why I believe that many of these utility-driven cryptocurrencies will profit from it. Additionally, using a stablecoin like XRP is the quickest way to shift it. Additionally, a recently introduced version of the Clarity Act was part of the Blockchain Regulatory Certainty Act. This is a significant step towards safeguarding non-custodial peer-to-peer technology innovators while upholding strict regulation of custodial financial institutions. FinCEN's 2019 guideline to make it clear that developers and infrastructure providers shouldn't be regulated like money transmitters when they don't manage client funds is carefully balanced in the amended law. And I concur with that. They want to slow down innovation, which is why they want to restrict them in that way. You know, that's all. They do not want us as individual investors to be able to generate passive income from our cryptocurrency holdings. And for that reason, these actions are crucial. That's why fighting for particular causes in Washington is so crucial. This is going to be extremely positive for all of cryptocurrency, as long as they can get this beyond the finish line. The US OCC reiterates its preemption authority, the legal ability of federal banking regulations to supersede conflicting state laws, in a recent letter from Acting Controller Rodney Hood. Therefore, it makes little difference if states wish to be anti-crypto because the Fed now sets the regulations for the future, because certain nations are still attempting to be extremely anti-crypto. Among them is, additionally, I believe there are a few others, but the states will now have to comply as long as legislation is implemented in Washington. This is why it's so crucial. VC's comment on Ripple's approach. Riz is the source of this as well. They are discussing the purchase of Circle by Ripple. Listen to it. Isn't it different? Well, once they start selling those, they'll have to sell it. They are stating that Ripple would need to sell XRP in order to purchase Circle. However, I'm not sure what will happen. Between Ripple and Circle, there are many people who believe that either Circle will eventually acquire Ripple or that Ripple will collaborate with Circle. Listen, the entire room, they are not all ruled by, I emphasize that. Stellar XLM will so profit as long as Circle is actively promoting USDC. Additionally, Ripple now has RLUSD, which is growing in strength and will help XRP. In any case, I always advise individuals to purchase a small portion of each of these ISO coins. Don't worry about the commotion and the hoopla, just relax. In the end, you'll become wealthy. The government of Paraguay claims that a Bitcoin scam was promoted by hacking into President Santiago